All right, so what's happening here is when you're in Google Apps Script and you're clicky-clacking away for hours on end and you're running, you can do a save, do multiple saves, for example, and then suddenly the screen will stop and turn to a Stack Overflow error, which is what's being mentioned here. So if we scroll down to one of my comments, so we're getting status Stack Overflow error here. Now I thought it was a couple of things, but I just can't identify what's causing this to occur. One thing for me, it might be that I'm using the app script color, but not everyone does use this additional browser tool. And I've tried it without app script color running and it has also crashed as well. It doesn't happen all the time, but once in a blue moon, it will crash. And the problem is, all right, fair enough, crash. I save fairly regularly, but when I refresh, that save I just made isn't there. The save before it, maybe not there either. The save before that, no, keep going back. So I did, it crashed for me 2 times yesterday while I was testing this out. And it was just a simple tutorial, so I didn't want to go and use Clasp on it. It was just much easier for me to work in the IDE. But the first time it didn't remember the last 2 to 3 saves. And then the last time it crashed, it didn't remember like the last 3 hours or 4 hours of saves and reverted right back. I mean, there was a big gap. I went and did gym in between. So there was only a number of saves there. So I'm imagining there's a block of saves that may be cached somewhere and that cache is then ignored when this crashes. And it will only then revert back to whatever from that cache has been taken back to another server that's storing the app script file. So let's have a look at what's been said in this error bug. So over the past few days, I've been getting repeated crashes in Apps Script IDE. It may have been going on longer as I normally use Clasp with a local IDE, but have been working on some stuff developed in the browser IDE lately. The community I work with have mentioned that they have been seeing the problem for a few weeks. Now, that this user is a very well-known user in the Google Workspace, Google Apps Script community, and is a GDE, a Google developer expert like me. So, you know, they know what they're talking about. They know how to handle these issue tracker stuff. So in any case, the IDE just exits randomly 2 to 3 times a day, losing all work since the last save. Well, that's not true. It could be several saves back. Now lost all confidence in using it. So I'm sick of seeing the message, oh, snap. Yeah, I am too, kinda. But more than anything, I'm a little bit curious about what the issue is. So if you can't get to the bottom of this, IDE should really have an auto-save function to at least minimize this frustration. Absolutely. Let me think, 2019, I think, we moved to the new IDE, and the previous functionality of the old IDE, although it looked a bit dodgy and dated, was possibly better than the new one. It maintained saves and save history in the old IDE, but in the new IDE, it only saves activities for certain periods of time. So you can use the activity tool or sheets or script activity, I think it's called script activity API or something like that, to see where those saves are, or the save blocks are, or period of times are. But mostly it's based on deployment, and you can't go and deploy every single time because it's a waste. You just want to go back to previous saves. Anyway, I digress. So output, so he's saying here, other than the usual snap error attached, I noticed the console showing this error after the failure. Don't know if it's related. Cross-origin read blocking cause. I think that's core blocked in cross-origin response. Yeah, I've seen that pop up too. And I actually think that just happens out of the box in F12 here. Let's have a look at our errors. So we've got a content security policy error. No core error here. What about in this one? Yeah, here it is here. So I think this is what he's referring to here. And that's the only thing that remains in the error when it occurs. And last time I refreshed, I couldn't even refresh the developer tools in Chrome. It bugged out and I had to actually click refresh on developer tools as well, which is really strange. So yeah, you can't do any steps to replicate it because it's a bit weird. Yeah, so just that all snap error on the browser. So are these related issues? So similar issues, cannot debug library? Not really. Debugger is stuck. And a function has local. I mean, I can't see how they're related, especially 2020. New the available search text across multiple files. These aren't related. This might be an automated thing that's causing this, but unrelated. And this is essentially support, Google support, having a look at the issue, creating links. They probably share this with the developer team, and just trying to help them out with their research so they can have a look at things. And then you can see here I've put my 2 cents in. We've got a couple other people making comments. This is just I think it's Blunderbuss. It's automated tooling. Yeah, Blunderbuss. So that's just automated tooling. This is another developer letting us know that it's been reported to the team. And this is the original author saying, hey, this is happening again. And reporting another issue here. And this is me reporting an issue as well. Okay, so if you're experiencing this, I'll put a link in the description here for you to access. But if you look up IDE crashing repeatedly in issuetracker.google.com issues, you will find it. But if you're experiencing this as well, please at the very least, just add a +1 to say you're impacted, but better yet, add a comment in here so the developers know how important this is. The more comments and votes that they have, the more likely they'll take this on and make it a priority to fix.